Patrick, has the nature of your discussions with Andy in the last couple of weeks been any different than usual? Do you guys talk about different things?
I mean, we talk about different things just considering the game that we played before. Nothing unusual. I mean, he always just give me things I can work on to get better. And he did that this week, obviously. I mean, I have to find a way to play better so our offense can get going.
Is there anything that you feel like he's really tried to get across to you that's been a new message?
Not necessarily. It's kind of the same stuff. It's just stuff that I've always had to work on, and I kind of lose sometimes during the season and have to get better with, and that's kind of hanging in the pocket, working on my footwork, staying on time, all that stuff like that. I mean, that's stuff that I work on every year. You see it kind of get me certain games every single year, and it's stuff I have to really go back to and learn from and be better at.
Did that show up on film a lot?
Yeah, I mean, there was times where I could have maybe stepped and found a soft spot in the pocket where I kind of got out of there and tried to make something happen. But, I mean, it's stuff, like I said, I've worked on every single year. Whenever we don't usually get going as an offense, it's because I'm doing little things like that. We have the guys on the team to make plays happen every single drive, but I have to make sure I'm executing at a high level so those guys can have those opportunities.
Patrick, I know the thought process behind deferring. But when the strength of the team is the offense, have you talked to Coach Reed at all about letting the offense start the game off first so you all can put your imprint on the game versus what happened Sunday where you finally got things rolling, you were down 17-0?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't talked to him about any of that. I mean, I know it's – I mean, there's positives to both sides. I mean, you defer because you get it in that second half. So whereas where I fumbled at the end of the half this last game, if we were able to find a way to get points, then we come back out and get points again, then we're right back in the football game. So there's positives and negatives to both sides of it. But I kind of leave that up to Coach Reed, and whatever happens, you kind of just go out there and roll with it.
You have a preference, though? Go ahead.
I mean, ever since I've been here, it's been deferring. So I don't have a preference either way, though.
Patrick, Vi asked you about your interactions this week with Andy. What about with your teammates? He sort of indicated that you maybe talked to them and kind of took the blame for what happened in Tennessee on Sunday?
Yeah, I mean, you can just watch the tape and know that I needed to play better in order to have success. I mean, there was plays where guys were open. There's plays where we had matchups downfield that I didn't hit, that I usually would give those guys opportunities to make plays. So I said stuff to them saying that I got to be better, but at the same time, they have that mindset. They're gonna try to build me up. So I mean, it's a thing where you're not gonna play your best game every single game, and that's when you really have to rely on those other guys to kind of step up and make plays for you.
Patrick, one of the better plays in your career, signature plays, was actually the run against Tennessee, and it was scrambling and doing that. So how do you kind of marry, okay, we got to focus more on pocket presence, but let's not completely lose that aspect of my game either?
Yeah, it's something I always have to battle with. It's when you want to stay within the offense and make the right play, get the ball moving, kind of get the drives going, and when I want to try to make the special play and get outside the pocket and make throws downfield. It's something that I've battled with my entire career, my entire life pretty much. And so especially in a game like the other day when it's not going our way early in the game, that's when I really have to get back to my fundamentals, kind of moving the ball down the field, not rely on one play to try to score a big touchdown, but just do it the right way and then let that stuff kind of come to me.
Are there certain scenarios in training camp where you guys focused on that? And when you mention something like pressing, does that make you think that you need to go back to fundamentals, or is there something else that you can tell yourself that will help you maybe not feel that same way you felt last week?
Yeah, I think it's just it's me just staying within the offense. As I've kind of learned throughout my career, it seems like every single year there's a game or two where I kind of start doing too much. That has nothing to do with either side of the ball. It's just I start doing too much, trying to make a play happen, trying to make a big play happen, and kind of spark the offense. Whereas I can just lean on other guys to make that stuff happen. We have a lot of playmakers on this offense. We got guys up front that can really be solid up front and solidify that offense and defensive line or whatever. And so for me, it's about staying within that, getting the ball out of my hand, getting stuff rolling, getting the momentum in our favor. And then if that big play happens, I let it happen. Don't just try to go out there and make it happen.
Patrick, you talk about guys, stepping up. Byron Pringle's been one of those guys week in and week out. Talk about your chemistry with him. It seems like he's developing more as one of your top receivers. Yeah, I mean, he's playing tough, man. I think that's the biggest thing. He's making some tough catches over the middle of the field and against man coverage, and that's what we're getting a lot in those third down situations is man coverage. And so you got to have guys other than Travis and Tyreek because they're getting doubled, and you've seen guys step up week after week, and last week Byron stepped up, made a lot of big catches
took some big hits, and he was still able to hold on to it. So just to be able to have him, along with those other guys, continue to step up, it's going to help us a ton as the season goes on.
Patrick, I imagine the confidence of a 3-4 team is different than last year when they're 14-1. But I guess if you could trace back even to the Super Bowl, did you feel like confidence was going to be something that you were going to have to focus on in the offseason and training camp with this team?
No, not necessarily. I feel like we still have the confidence. We understand that we're not playing football the way we want to. We're not winning the games that we feel like we can win. But I think we know that it's still out in front of us. We have to take it day by day. We have to focus in and really go out and get better as a team. But we feel like if we can do that and better ourselves, that we can still get whatever we want to. We do whatever we want to do, and so that's going to take us just staying with the grind, staying with the process, and really listening to this coaching staff and doing what they want us to do.
I wonder if at any point this year, were you surprised? I know we talked about teams blitzing you less, but has there been any part of what opponents have done that has surprised you in terms of trying to make you be consistent play after play after play versus some opportunities in the past where maybe you did have that play or two that got the offense going quicker?
I wouldn't say I was necessarily surprised. We've kind of gotten the same type of coverages and schemes every single week from week one on. It's been depending on the games if we're going to execute and make the plays happen. There's been weeks where we executed, drove the ball down the field, had those long drives, scored touchdowns. There's been weeks that we've gotten penalties, turnovers, and I'm a big part of that, turnovers and stuff like that, and it's really stalled out drives. And so if you want to be a great offense, you got to be able to do it several different ways. And if teams are going to play us like they're playing us now, we got to be able to drive down the field. But I think what we can't miss, and what I feel like I missed a little bit last week, is when that big play opportunity is there, we got to go for it. And there were some shots down the field this last week that I didn't take those chances, and I think that kind of came back to bite us at the end of the game.
Something like that, does that happen because you have had a mistake or two, or maybe unlucky on occasion that you're playing a little tentative then?
No, I don't think it's that. I obviously I don't want to turn the ball over, but I'll never be afraid to throw it to the guys and let them have chances to make plays. I think it's just you kind of get in the rhythm of all game you've been kind of going short passes, and you just kind of eliminate something before actually seeing it. And so I think that was something that I did this last week was I was kind of trying to get the offense going, short pass, and there was a time where I could have maybe just taken a shot, and I didn't even give it a chance because I was so focused in on they're not going to let us have it. And so that's stuff that I have to continue to work on and get better at is being true, going through the reads, and if that opportunity is there, give those guys chances to make plays.
When you look at it, I asked Coach Bienemy about 3-4 weeks ago whether or not the league has caught up with the Chiefs offense and you in particular. You were also on Rich Eisen, and I know he kind of asked you that question yesterday. Can you kind of expound on me? Do you think that it's a matter of just you all eliminating those mistakes, or the defense getting a little bit of credit on what they've shown you all? Have they caught up to you? Do you think they caught up with the
Yeah, you can't take away anything the defenses have done against us. They've played us well, and they've done great things that have limited us to a certain extent. But like I said, I think if we execute and do what we think we can do, we can still go out there and get what we want. And that's, we have to go out there and execute play after play after play. And I think that's something that we have to continue to get better at. I have to continue to get better at is not getting bored with just taking a profit. Go out there and take those shots, obviously, but whenever the short stuff's there, keep taking it and moving the ball down the field, no turnovers, cut the penalties out, and I feel like we'll still have success.
Beginning against Washington, it seems like teams are trying to really beat up Kels, and he's your main outlet. Just how has that been maybe impacting some of the things that you guys can do defending Kelsey?
Yeah, I think he's still been doing a great job of getting open. He's battling. Those guys are all over him. But he's battling and getting himself open and fighting through as best as he possibly can. And so, they're obviously going to focus in on Travis. They're going to focus in on Tyreek. They're such playmakers. They're going to kind of get that. They have these last few years. It's about me finding those opportunities when they do have good matchups to get them the ball. And then other guys giving them chances to make plays. And I think we did better at that against Washington than we did against Tennessee. And so we'll go back to kind of picking and choosing when to get them chances to make plays and letting other guys have chances.
Couple more guys. We'll go Haley and then Adam.
Patrick, kind of what you were saying earlier, how every great quarterback has one of their worst games. Every great franchise is going to have a slump. And social media being as cruel as it can be today, what do you kind of do to reset knowing that you guys have the confidence to get back to your winning ways?
think just believing in each other. I mean, we have a lot of guys in this locker room that have won a lot of football games and played a lot of great football. So we don't really worry about what other people outside of this building say. I mean, we just focus in on what we know we can do and what we're going to try to do the rest of the season.
Patrick, you're coming up on the anniversary of that crazy Monday night game you had against the Rams a few years ago. What do you remember about that game, and can you imagine a game again with so much scoring? Although, now that I asked the question, I guess you had a few in college.
Yeah, I mean, that was a crazy game. Obviously, it would have been a lot better if we won. I mean, we battled. I mean, we went out there, battled against a great football team. I believe it was in the Super Bowl that year. We're playing up against a really good football team this week as well. So, luckily enough, we're going to be at Arrowhead this time. So, hopefully, we can continue to battle and have a better memory and hopefully maybe win.